So guys, this is a little bit of a fortunate meeting. Why don't you, Gene, obviously we know who you are, but this fine gentleman next to you, why don't you introduce yourself, sir?
I'm Bruce Blanton, good friend of the Skinner Band, good friend of Gene,
Yeah?
We go way back.
Oh, yeah?
many years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Tell me a little bit about it. How far back?
Probably mid 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's a good buddy with old Big Lou.
Yeah.
Big Lou, which is Skinner Band, the tribute band I call him, a security. But me and Lou go way, way, way back. And as Bruce is aware,
You say Big Lou, that's Michael Lewis,
Michael Lewis, Big Lou, and he,
AKA Big Lou.
Big Lou, that's right.
Yeah.
And Lou goes back, he went to Vietnam, and he's got Agent Orange is working on him really bad right now from his time he served in Vietnam, but he can't be here with us because he's not doing so well.
All right. So you guys have any stories together? I feel like you're pretty good buddies. You got to have some things you can relay.
Yeah. On the spur of the moment, it's kind of hard to remember all.
Yeah,
You know?
let me start that. I was just pointing out that old bulkhead there, down this side here. In the late 50s and early 60s, me and Ronnie, and several other ones, Jim Daniel, Bill Fairs, we'd come down here and fish with mullet. I just got with Bruce, I think around June is when the mullets start running in the creek here. Cedar River it's called. And we'd stand on that bulkhead and we'd catch mullet with a cane pole. And I remember him saying, when you hang one, 2 or 3 or bigger on that cane pole, it's hard to get him up. And we'd have to have a dip net. And we had a couple of guys that wasn't fishing at the time called the net crew. And when we hung one, we'd say, net crew, net crew. And the net crew would run over there and scoop the mullet up. And we caught many, many hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of mullet over the years here. And we would take them to the west side and distribute them through the neighborhood and down. A lot of the black folks down Stokes family,
Yeah.
we gave them a lot of mullet, catfish, and a lot of mullet. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, this was a good place to catch them. I caught them here myself many a time. Catch them and share them with people who needed them. Yeah.
Because you could catch a bunch of them. I mean, you could catch them
One
all
right after
day,
the other.
one right after the other. Fishing about 18 inches with fishing worms, wiggler worms, and sometimes people eat bread, but with the worms, and catch them. A lot of people don't think you can catch mullet with a cane pole. Oh yeah, right here. You can catch them by the hundreds of thousands of pounds if you stand here long enough.
Yeah. Sure can.
A lot of stories here, and we should jump off of that bridge. Some of the people jump off of that bridge there, and I don't know if you remember this.
Oh God, I'll even talk about that one, but that's a
Farrell. Okay. Well, anyway. Now this is the I don't know the right word, but I'm gonna try to say the topography or whatever that word of this creek has changed over the years, and right up there on low tide, the water would be down, and there's a lot of muck, a lot of black muck. I don't know if you call it peat, but the mud would be deep, and you couldn't walk out in it, and so you would jump in here. And so I was here, Tom and John Farrell at the time were here, and some other people jumping off the bridge, swimming over and climbing back up and going to the bridge. For some reason, John Farrell decided he was going to jump off the bridge down here on low tide, and the water was only about that deep. He thought it was deep water. He jumped in, and when he jumped in, half of his body went down into that muck, and the only stuff that was out the water was his fingertips. So he was stuck in that mud drowning, and he was doing his fingertips like this, and everybody's wondering what's going on with him. And Tom said, he's stuck in the mud, he's stuck in the mud. And everybody jumped in and pulled him out of the muck to keep him from drowning, but he would have been dead here shortly. And he learned his lessons about jumping in the shallow part of the creek. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time.
I got caught by my dad. Me and my little brother and another kid jumping off this bridge. My dad stood right over there at the gate and caught me jumping off, but didn't catch my brother and this other kid But when I got back up and my dad got me up there, he tore my butt up, boy, with his belt. And he said, boy, don't never let me catch you jumping off that bridge ever again. He says, one of these times you're gonna hit something in that water and it's gonna kill you.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, they was
I never jumped again.
limbs, tree limbs and
Just
stuff.
never know. A log in the water.
But it
you
was
know,
back then. It was real shallow out for
Yeah.
a long way. You know,
still is shallow.
it still is shallow. But back then, I mean, I could tell that it's gotten wider over the years. I don't know if somebody have to track that, and it's just, I might be wrong, but it looked like it was to be a lot wider, a less wider back then.
Yeah.
You know, of course, the
Yeah.
bridge ain't changed any, so it's, maybe I just can't remember how wide it was along here. But there's a lot of fishing stories here, a lot of mullet.
Yeah.
Still is a lot of good fishing stories here. In fact, I had a friend of mine that lives right up there just as it starts to curve around the bend up there. He's one of our members here. And he caught a snook off his dock down there.
Really?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Wow,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd ride our bicycles as kids, me and Ronnie. He'd be on the handlebars, or I'd be on the handlebars, and we'd come down here with our bicycles and catch mullet, put them in croaker sacks, catch old croaker sacks full of mullet, be on the handlebars of that bike, and him towing me, or I'm towing him on the handlebars, coming down here catching these mullet, catching these fish.
Yep.
Good old days. I miss them.
Yep.
I miss
Was some
him
good
too.
old days back in them
Yep.
days.
Yes, sir, bobtail.